What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Lock It In here. My name is Tanner Dawson, the Record in Sports here, and of course, it's with me. It's none other than Mr. Scott Cope. Scott, what's up, dude?
I didn't get the memo, Tanner, about doing the show outside today.
Hey, man, we're doing a show outside. Got the smoker ready to go. I got a pork butt right there. I'm waiting to put on. I'll probably put that on here in the middle of the show as I'm waiting for this thing to get down closer to 225. Got it all warmed up, ready to set. Got the right smoke coming out. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. So, but it's a perfect day to do it because now I can just, after this show, I'll throw on the NFL games, and then if the buffoons show up, then we'll do a show on the buffoon show, sports buffoon. So, we got it all worked out here, and I did get a new. Ended up being a power cable on my computer. Power supply. Shocker, I was right the entire time. So finally came in yesterday, got it fixed up, swapped up, and it worked like a charm. So we are at it today. So Scott, man, I tell you what, we're already 3 games into week 17 here, and they have not been the best. Well, I wouldn't say best. All right, one game was not the best. Obviously, last night or Thursday night was not the prettiest thing in the world. 6-3. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Jackson Smith was nowhere to be found pretty much. Zach Charbonnet didn't show up. And then the Bears bared it. I mean, essentially. So, but Wednesday I thought was a pretty good slate, at least for a scoring opportunity there, right? So Chiefs looked probably not what everybody wants them to look like at this point of the year, especially with a high ankle sprain, right, of Mahomes and no Chris Jones on Wednesday. And the Steelers didn't look bad. They didn't. I didn't think they played bad. They had some missed opportunities, some penalties that kill you all the time, but I didn't think they were bad. But then we switched over to the afternoon game of Christmas Day and Baltimore and Texans, and 2 points. 2 points? Are you what? What? This Baltimore team is good, but I don't think they're not that good.
Who's got the number 5 seed? They're going to Kansas City this year.
It's gonna be the Steelers, most likely at this point. You know, if we do look at the current playoff stats, current playoff seedings right now, Chiefs locked up the 1 on Wednesday with that W, so they probably sit out everybody next week, most likely. You have the Bills currently at the 2 spot, but they haven't solidified it yet. Baltimore's right behind them. Bills still have to take care of business, and they haven't looked great at all last couple of weeks. Texans in the 4, right, currently. They're not getting the 3 spot either way, so they're not that good. And then you have the Steelers in the 5. You have right now, I believe the Chargers and Broncos are in that order to finish it out. So Miami's still in the hunt. They need some help. Bengals need some help, as well as who am I missing? Miami, Bengals,
Colts,
and Colts. There you go. All 3 teams need some help. I mean, really, Chargers and Broncos can lock it in here within this next 2 weeks here for themselves and just solidify it up for the AFC side of things. NFC things side of things here isn't as complicated, you could say, right? I think we're still waiting on the 1 seed. Minnesota, Philadelphia, and Detroit are still in contention for all that right now. So we got those guys going. Depending where all that falls seeding wise, right? Detroit most likely, Philadelphia 1 or 2. Then of course you got Tampa Bay there, and in the is it the Rams or Seattle right now?
If the Rams win tonight, they clinch the division.
Okay,
the division's clinched up. So the Cardinals have nothing to play for. So I have a feeling the Rams are just going to boat race them tonight. So
that's kind of what I think. Well, I don't know. I picked the Arizona to cover. I don't know about boat race or anything, but for this game or for that game, but it's 6.5 tonight.
Let's see which Kyler shows up tonight. That's the most important thing. If the bad Kyler shows up, then they're gonna beat him up pretty good. But if Kyler is motivated, James Conner certainly is. He wants to play, and he is. So
it's gonna be interesting to see how motivated a lot of the Cardinals are, for this game here. And I mean, that's still big there, right? I think wild card wise, right? Isn't it, Seattle's in it, I believe, right now.
Seattle, yeah,
Minnesota and Green Bay.
yeah, and Washington. If
Oh,
Washington wins,
Washington. Sorry,
yeah,
Seattle would be out.
yep,
Washington, Green Bay, and Minnesota, or whoever the three
Minnesota,
teams,
right,
right? One of the
right,
three teams of the NFC
right.
North there. So yeah, no, we see a lot of football left. I mean, I know 2 weeks doesn't seem a lot, but it's a lot, and we got some great matchups today here. Some great betting opportunities that we'll get into as well
Yep.
as we get ready to kick off NFL slate on a Saturday. 3 games today in about an hour. Let's just break it down, man. I haven't pulled any inactives here, but the Chargers and the Pats going at noon Central, 1 Eastern today. Right now, interesting enough, Pinnacle has the scene at 6, but everybody else is about 6.5 right now within the U.S. here, and I think that's kind of an interesting number that Pinnacle's more or as less is more in favor of New England covering than it is the Chargers. And that Chargers need this game. We know Gus Edwards is out. Dobbins got activated yesterday, so he should be in and playing today. But I mean, this Chargers team hasn't looked impressive the last couple of weeks. They've struggled a lot, and mightily surprisingly enough, it's been the run game. And I feel like Greg Roman, we've seen this offense before fizzle out and back in Baltimore a few times. We've seen this happen in San Francisco as well when he was there. Any big concern here on the run game today, Scott? Anything big that we got to watch for in this Chargers New England game?
So the talk up here is that Ramondre could be benched today, and Antonio Gibson could start because of the fumbling issues for Ramondre. So keep that in mind. That could happen. For the Chargers, it's J.K. Dobbins' backfield. Gus Edwards is out today. Kamani Vidal is in, but he hasn't impressed much.
Right.
So that's the two storylines in this game is that Dobbins is back off a supposedly horrific knee injury, which wasn't so bad. And then Ramondre could be benched today because of his fumbling issues. Gerard Mayo said this week he just has had enough of it. You have to protect the ball when you're in the Patriots situation, which is not a good football team. So I would look for Drake May to run it a lot today. That would be my path to seeing run game, is that Drake May runs the ball a lot. His prop is 26.5, 27.5, something like that. I went over that because I just think between him and Stevenson maybe not playing as much that could happen today. So I would Drake May over.
Yeah, you talk about Drake May's rushing yards, his passing yards too. He's right now it's 224.5, but he's hit over in this passing yards 6 out of the last 10 games here, which I think is a really cool stat there. There is some opportunities for bets here, I believe too. Boutte, receiver for the New England, he's got some action the last couple of weeks here. He's getting some targets here at 34.5 receiving yards. I like that as well from the Chargers or versus the Chargers today. I think Joshua Palmer is going to have a decent, at least 40 yards. This is 33.5 right now. And Douglas, we know, is there. I think the interesting part here too is Stevenson's over under for rush attempts is only 10.5. 10.5.
Yeah. Usually when Vegas has that stuff like that, that tells you a lot as to what's going to happen in the game today.
Right. So that kind of pushes you towards Gibson on the over for 7.5 rushing attempts today on player props here. Drake May, I don't know. I'm just kind of going down a little bit here of what's out there.
I think when Drake May's performed well, I think Hunter Henry's been a big part of it. So I would take a look at Hunter Henry. I think it's 42.5.
Yeah, 42.5, 4.5 receptions over under right now, which I love that number. Give me the 5 all day long with him. Of course, we don't have all of his stuff here, but yeah, it's there's some interesting player props out there that I think you guys can really capitalize on in this game. So
Dobbins too, he's only at 57.5 right now. If the backfield is going to be his again, I would
MGM 54.5 or 54.5.
I would definitely get over on that one for sure.
Yeah, 44.5 for Hunter Henry. I believe you said that. So
Yeah.
on that one,
Yeah.
I do like a Gibson 29.5 rushing yards
I
on
do
that
as
over
well.
there too.
I do as well.
How about another guy that we've heard his name a few times the last few weeks here? It's Austin Hooper. I know you got Hunter Henry there, but I mean, when he's it seems like when May's going out to the receivers, they're for a little longer passes, a little tougher opportunities. But when they need the short gains, it's been tight end central in this whole New England offense.
Yeah, I think what we talk about is running back splits. I think with the Patriots, you can talk about tight end splits. I think it's a 65-35 Hooper and
I
Henry.
think so, yeah. That
And
sounds
so
right.
I think Hooper's going to catch 3 to 5 balls today for probably 40 yards somewhere in there and could score a touchdown. So if he's anywhere under 35.5, I would take a look at that seriously.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Now, I'm not going to go game by game here on the over unders that we like to do, just because I'm not really in front of a desk right now. I don't have my sheet up, but over under right now, you can get the over at 41.5 on FanDuel right now, or the under of 42.5. Okay, so around that 42, 41. Were you liking that number here today?
The last time the Chargers were up here, it was 6-0 Chargers won. I don't know how much Justin Herbert's going to have to throw the ball today because I think the Chargers are gonna take a lead early and maybe control the clock. And it's Jim Harbaugh. He loves to run the ball. He loves to muck it up, and so that's going to be close. I could see something like a 24-10 Chargers win.
It's interesting because you look at the Chargers last 5 games on over unders, and they're 3-2 on the over, with the over, of course, being the favorite. Yeah. But you had a 41.5 they went over last week with Denver, 46 with Tampa Bay the week before, and then the Baltimore game in November you went over 51. But yet you were under on the KC game in Atlanta. But then again, maybe that's more indication of there wasn't much offense for either of those games there either. So maybe that helps too. New England, look at their over-under trends as well. They were under last week, surprisingly, but it was 48. They weren't far off, though. I mean, it was 45 was the total points that ended up being for that game. So they were just barely under there, but they hit they've been above 41.5, 1, 2, 3, 4 times now in the last 5 games. They technically hit the over against Indy at 41. So, look, as much as we give Patriots crap, they're still putting up points here.
They're putting up points,
but they're also allowing a lot of points too. And the Chargers need to win this game so bad. So I think I like the over in this game here. I do anticipate some points on both sides. At least, if anything, at least in the 20s for both teams. It may not be a pretty 20, but it'll probably be a 20. So within that game there, for sure.
We talk a lot about in-game betting. I would look to see what the Chargers do in the first quarter, and I would look at the number then, because if Harbaugh's going to run the ball to start the game, he's not going to change his game plan. So,
correct.
I would really look at the first quarter in game, for maybe even the first drive, and see what happens, and then hit the total from there. I can't think it's going to go down a lot. So,
I can't imagine either. Chargers, by the way, looks like we just had an updated spread here. It is now -5.5 for the Chargers. So on FanDuel right now. So that's it's going down there. I'm going to check my temp here real quick, but give us some talks about the Broncos-Bengals game. Bengals have to win this thing. Broncos win, they're in, essentially. So they can kick the Bengals out in their miserable season. Finally put to rest here, but what's some thoughts on this Broncos-Bengals matchup?
So I think last time that Surtain covered Chase, which is probably going to be the matchup today, Chase had 1 catch for like 10 yards. So I think you're looking at Surtain following Chase all over the field. Their number 2 cornerback, Mills, is back today too. So I think they can just man up against Chase and Higgins. And if that's the case, Chase Brown is going to be looking at a stacked front today. So I think Burrow's way to succeed today is through Chase Brown, short passes, Gesicki, short passes. I think that's the way they're going to move the ball. If everybody's thinking that this is going to be an explosion for Cincinnati, I don't see it. I think Denver's defense is for real. I think Denver comes into the game. They're underdog by 3.5. I like Denver today. I just think that Denver's secondary is going to control Chase and Higgins. And if you've looked at the box scores lately for the Bengals, Chase and Higgins, especially Chase, has gone off. They're looking to get him the Triple Crown. So I think that Burrow's going to have to go away from him early and come back to him. 93.5 yards for Chase. I believe that's what it was at. I went under. I just think that Chase is going to get Surtain all over the field today. I don't see him having an explosive game. I can see Chase Brown running the ball, and if he has any success, maybe that loosens up the defense a little bit. So for me, it's Jamar Chase under 93.5 receiving yards. It's Joe Burrow. I'm going to go 1.5 is his prop. I'm going to go over that. He's had 4 straight games of 250 and 3 touchdowns. So the Burrow recent history has suggested he has thrown the ball early and often, but I just think Chase is going to get Surtain today all over the field. I don't see an explosion game for Cincinnati on offense. I see one of these 24-17 games. I just think Surtain's following him around the field. I think Denver figures the way to control Cincinnati is put your best corner and just follow Chase all over the field today. So
you think they're going to learn? You think they're going to learn to be able to do that?
Yeah, well, the last time that Chase played Denver, he had 1 catch for like 9 yards or something like that. And that was because of Surtain. So
I guess we have seen Chase, when he does play an elite corner, struggle, right? I mean,
yeah,
not that McDuffie's elite guys or anything for the Chiefs here, but
right.
I mean, he struggled against the Chiefs there making catches. Last year when we had Snead, who was elite at the time, who shut down multiple guys, JJ, Chase, and all those guys, he got shut down. So I guess that's fair to think about his history, that he can't really overcome a really good corner, right? And if he gets followed, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
And the other thing that I'll say is T. Higgins has been questionable all week with this ankle injury. If he's not 100% today, then they're just going to single coverage up these Cincinnati receivers. Instead of getting help with over-the-top coverage, they're going to say, Sean Payton's going to say, okay, Surtain, you got Chase. We're not have to worry about Higgins as much as usual because he's banged up. Yeah. So that leads me to believe that Surtain is going in the slot with Chase, going outside with Chase, all over the field. So Chase is going to have to get one early. If he doesn't get one early, I think the mounting frustration during the game could grow because Chase has had a great last 6 weeks. So, and Cincinnati needs to win the game today. If they lose, they're done. They're officially done.
Yeah, like I said here, they introduced the game here. I mean, it's a do or die for Cincy. And quite frankly, why would Denver want to take that chance leading into next week?
Right.
Yes, granted, you're not playing Mahomes. Most likely, Chris Jones, we probably know it's going to sit out, right? We know we all know that this is coming. But why take a chance and possibly get upset in the final week? We've seen drama in week 18, in 17, right? When it was 17 games. Like we've seen that before. And there's no sense in why wait? Take care of it now. Squash it out of the way. Get rid of the Bengals. This is your opportunity. It's your opportunity to do this here,
You basically win, you're in the playoffs. So what you do is take out Cincinnati, take out the Colts, take out the Dolphins all in one swing. Plus, you go to week 18, you got a rookie quarterback in a do-or-die game playing against a Chiefs team that is still formidable on defense, even without Chris Jones. So I don't know if McDuffie plays. I don't know if those other guys play. But Kansas City still is good on defense, and they still will try to win that last game and go 16-1 and try to get Andy Reid Coach of the Year.
No, we don't win those regular season awards now. Come on.
But if I'm Denver, I don't want to chance it to week 18. I want to wrap it up today. So
we're still talking about a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson MVP right now because Josh Allen looked good for 5 games. That was unreal. But meanwhile, Lamar's at least up there in the stats category. Josh Allen isn't. But I ain't gonna get into that whole mess there.
it's
You
time
know,
for that.
it feels honestly for me this whole Josh Allen Lamar thing real quick feels like last year's Joel Embiid and Joker
Yep.
conversation. Oh no, well, Joel Embiid he played really hard. We should give it to him.
Yeah.
It's more just giving it to somebody right now than it is actually giving it to the MVP. I mean, yeah, there's so many different stats you guys can look at here. Josh Allen isn't in the top 5 for a majority of them, so it's a joke. But anyways, get back to this game here. Kind of go down some player props here. Just to touch base too, real quick. It's interesting that Bo Nix has only hit his player prop of passing yards over 5 out of the last 10 times. He's 50%. He did hit it right on the dot last week, so that was a push. But yeah, it's he missed 3 games ago. He missed really bad. It was really bad, really far down. But yeah, he hit 3 in a row, and then he hit 2 in a row where he was under. So like, I don't know if I'm touching that 249.5 right now at all. I know this Bengals defense sucks, but they've kind of turned it up in the last couple games, and I don't know if I trust Denver's offense that hasn't looked great the last couple games either. So probably staying away from that. I like Joe Burrow over the 285.5. I think he touches damn near 300, honestly. I know it's going to be tough with Chase, but I still think the guy's going to be passing. If you don't like that, pop down to over under 37.5 passing attempts. I think he easily hits 40 on the passing attempt. So if you don't like the yards because it's too much, go down to passing attempts, grab yourself an over right now, and it's even money on that 37.5 on DK. So I think he goes over on that because I think they're going to play from behind and they're just going to pass the ball for that there. So
Plus, you got to put the ball in your best player's hands, and it's
correct.
Joe Burrow. So
Correct.
if you're going to lose, if you're going to get knocked out of the playoffs, you want it to be with Joe Burrow and not with Chase Brown or somebody else. So I agree with you there. I think he's going to throw the ball a lot. So
I think your underdogs, your sleeper stuff, like your pick'ems, right? Jamar Chase over 20.5 fantasy score. I like that under. Like you said, I think Surtain having that cornerback around after kind of discussing it here really brings the light of kind of where we're at with this game for it. But I do like the over in the 20.5 rushing yards for Bo Nix. I think that's going to be a nice hit for sure.
I think what the game plan for Denver is very simple. Keep the Cincinnati offense off the field. And how do you do that? You run the ball. And I think I agree with you. Denver's going to run the ball a lot early in the game.
Here's an interesting number, right? So you talked about that. How about over 5.5 rushing attempts for Javonte Williams?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
how mighty have fallen.
So Jaleel McLaughlin's back today. So all of Javonte's props have gone right down the tubes, right down the sink.
Yes.
So, yeah, Javonte Williams is not going to get 6 carries today. I kind of find it hard to believe.
That'd be silly. I honestly think because he's played really well. I think this last few weeks here, from just a fantasy standpoint, and I'm sure I'll hit McLaughlin under 7.5 receiving yards. I think he gets more than that. I think he gets involved today here, but that Javonte Williams, I'll take the over 2.5 receptions, and I'll take the over on the 5.5 rushing attempts today.
Javonte had 7 catches last week, so he's there passing back. So you're not
going to ignore a guy that's not carried your offense, but I mean he was an impact for that offense here. So you're not going to ignore a guy like that. So I'm right there with you. I'm not a big fan of those numbers there, so I'll take advantage of that. Over 4.5 rushing attempts for Bo Nix as well. I don't mind dropping a little money there. Vele over 2.5 receptions.
Yep.
I'll take that as well for the Broncos. I think from a I'd probably take the under on Chase Brown over under 16.5 rushing attempts.
Yeah,
I
me too.
honestly, I think they're going to be passing the ball, guys.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a blowout here. I think they're going to be passing the ball, and I think that's just kind of ball game you're going to see here for this matchup. So that's kind of where I'm leaning.
yeah. I think the two things on Cincinnati's side is you saw last week. If Chase didn't have an explosive game last week, so I bet Chase under his total. I think Andre Yoshivas is going to go over because I think Burrow as a third receiver likes him a lot. So
I think so
Higgins might go over. I like Higgins to go over, but I like Yoshivas to go over. I think his prop is low enough where 2 catches he's going to hit that. So
over under 7.5 receptions for Jamar Chase.
I would go under.
I'd probably hit the under as well. I would take the chance and hit the under. I really would at this point. So, but yeah, that's kind of a little preview there. The over under right now of this game is 50, 50.5 on some as well. That's a high number for a Broncos game.
That is.
I'd probably take the under. If you can find 50.5, I'd take the under for sure. If you look at some of these trends here that's been going on for Denver, they've hit the over 3 out of the last 5. So, but that over was the Chargers, Cleveland, and Vegas. The unders, so they did a push against Indy, and they had the under against Atlanta. But if we look at offenses within this team, Baltimore, they were over 46.5, but they allowed 41 points and only scored 10. So I don't think you're looking at that kind of game. I think you're probably looking at a closer of a Chargers Indy style, not Indy style game, sorry. Probably a Chargers style game, 27-34. If you're really looking at the over, that's the kind of score you're hoping for. Quite frankly, for me, I think it's going to be the under. And I think you're looking at more of an Indy style game of 31-13 because I think the Broncos go up. And not that the Bengals only scored 13 points, but again, Jamar Chase, I think if he gets caught up with Surtain, it's over. It's over on that one. So
and keep in mind, Cincinnati knows it's do or die. So if Denver gets up by 10 points, say, do they get really tight?
They're chucking it, man. They're chucking
it. You know, definitely they're chucking it. But does Burrow get really tight and say, let's start second guessing themselves? That's what I would watch. So if Denver,
that's the last thing Cincinnati fans want to see.
That's absolutely. I mean, you lost to the Patriots opening day. You basically ruined your season, but that's beside the point. So.
Yeah. And Cincinnati, by the way, coming off a 3-game cover streak here. But the Broncos just broke last week a 5 games of covering. So, I mean, it's all up in the air, man. No way, little fly. It's like warm out and they all come out, man. I tell you, it's part of meat. Yeah, 3.5, 3 right now, -3 for Bengals on FanDuel, 3.5. You can still get on BetMGM. I don't know, man. I'd definitely lean I'll probably just pick the Broncos money line.
Yeah,
with plus money and just call it good.
That's where I went. I went with the Broncos money line this morning. So,
all right, let's talk about this final game here. Cardinals Rams going at it here. You have a 6.5 point spread for the Rams right now. You also have an over under 47.5. Rams are favored pretty well in this game here. Again, another playoff implication game, and this is big. This is big for both teams here, and this is something that we all got to watch here because Cardinals can play upset season right now, man. I mean, they're in the passenger seat. Seattle won on Thursday. I mean, why not play spoiler and make Week 18 worth something for this Rams team, you know? And quite frankly, you got to know that the Cardinals are ticked off about that loss last week. They can't believe they lost. Can't believe they lost. I know Trey McBride was very unhappy. We saw in a couple post-game tunnel shots. So, but you got to imagine this Cardinals team's looking out here to play spoiler. If we can't get in, you can't get in, right? And this Rams, basically Rams or Seattle has to win their division to get in. So, what's your thoughts here on this matchup here?
I took the Cardinals specifically for that reason. Ticked off. want to spoil somebody's season since theirs is basically done after next week. Couple things that in this game I would look for the Rams to run the ball a lot early. Cooper Kupp, I bet under 52.5 receiving yards. Here's why. Arizona's slot corner is their best cornerback on the team. He has given up an average of 2 catches for 29 yards the whole season and a 57% completion percentage. I love Cooper Kupp to go under today. Puka Nakua's had a 40% target share in the last 4 games. So Stafford's eyes go to Puka first before they go anyplace else. So
Hey,
I just think
53.5?
What's that?
53.5 receiving yards? Like that
52
under?
and a half. 52 and a half.
53.5 now.
Oh, it is. See, it's
Yeah.
getting bet up. I did some digging on this in Arizona's slot corner, plus I heard it on a Thursday show on YouTube. He's only given up average 2 catches, 29 yards. I mean, you really
5.5 receptions for Cooper as well.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Stafford hasn't thrown for more than 183 yards in the last, I think, 4 games.
Yeah,
something like
I believe
that.
so.
So they're not looking to throw. They're looking to run the ball. So if they get up early, they just hand it to Kyren Williams, and he runs the ball, and Blake Corum gets in a little bit. So I would look at Kyron's props. I think if the Rams get up a touchdown early, if they drive down and score first, I think they're just going to run the ball a ton against Arizona.
Yeah, right now Kyron is over under 94.5 rushing yards currently.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Blake Corum though only 15.5. I wouldn't mind pushing the over on that one. Over under 10.5 receiving yards for Kyren Williams. I'd probably take that over there. 20.5 rushing attempts. Probably take the over on that one. Kind of like them. I like because we saw it too, right? We saw what was that a few weeks ago where Blake Corum got the first 9, 8, 9, 10 carries.
Yep.
And then it was Kyren the rest of the game. It was there was hope for Blake Corum, fantasy owners right here. I was forced to start him and I loved it. And I was like, oh man, I might get majority of the workload. And then it all turned. So it's very possible that we see a similar stat with this matchup here. But again, it's Kyron's team in the end here. So you're really looking there over 1.5 receptions period for Kyron. I take that all day too.
From
next point.
Yep. Yeah. I would also look at his rushing attempts. I think he's going to be around 20 to 25, somewhere in there. Because
it was 20.5.
If you look at it, the Rams win tonight, they clinch. They're done. So I don't think you see Kyren next week. I don't think you see Cooper Kupp next week. I don't think you see Puka next week. So McVay is going to go all out with Kyren and say, you're going to get a ton of work because you're going to rest next week if we win.
But isn't that kind of a worry though? You don't want I don't know. I feel like when the Rams are in desperation mode, it doesn't go well, right?
No, it does not.
And they don't look good. And we've seen Stafford, I believe it was 6 out of 10 last 10 games. He's actually met his prop, right? Over prop, but it's still I don't want to put Stafford in a situation, but I think he's in the situation, and quite frankly, to me, I think Arizona's ready to spoil some rest time for that Rams team.
I think so too. And Arizona would be smart to just stack the box and say, "Okay, Matt, go beat us. We're going to lose the game, we're going to lose the game because Matt Stafford had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, not because Kyren ran for 175 yards, which could happen today. Which could happen.
Very well. It very well could happen there.
Yep.
Do we like this 6.5 number? Rams favorite. Do we like a touchdown win, or we think it's going to be
teams that get embarrassed? I love them the next week, and I think the Cardinals feel like they got embarrassed last week. So I agree with you. I think the Cardinals are going to really, really put the pedal to the metal and be aggressive in this game and say, "Let's go beat them. Let's make them have to work next week to win the division." And that's the only way the Rams are going to get in, by winning the division. So I'm with you. I love the Cardinals this week. I think they could possibly win the game tonight. So
Yeah, I don't trust the Rams team winning by 7 on
no,
a potential playoff basically game for them. And
right.
I feel like the Cardinals are ticked off after last week, and I honestly feel like Trey McBride's probably going to go off, and James Conner is going to go off. Not necessarily too worried about Marvin Harrison or anything like that, but I feel like Kyle Murray's going to show up. I feel like this Arizona team's going to show up, and they want to spoil it, man. Which I am all here for. I would
I,
love to see it
I
because I
would
love.
look at I would look at the McBride touchdown prop too. I think he might get in the end zone. Kyler wants to get him in there, so I think tonight would be a great night to get him in the end zone. So
Take
I
that.
don't know
Yeah,
what is that. Yeah, but I wouldn't throw a ton of money on it. I would just throw $10 on it, see what happens.
anytime
$5 on it.
TD, call it good. Put $5-10 on it.
Yep.
For those there. I don't. Yeah, I don't think you need to put a lot of those anytime TD bets. You guys can throw just a little bit of money on and call it good. Player props. Where you at? Trey. Nope, not Benson. McBride. TD. Or no, not that. Over under. Oh, it's plus 190 on FanDuel. So
That's
go
not a
get
bad
yourself,
bet.
go get yourself throw $5-10 on it. Call it good.
Yeah.
Possibly walk away there. For that. So
No doubt.
I guess let's think about these matchups here. Is there 2 or 3 players that you like touchdowns from? Obviously, Hunter Henry for me. I like that. I think he gets in the end zone today. I also think as long as Dobbins, I believe Dobbins is active here from what I've seen.
He is.
I like him getting the end zone for the first game. Denver Cincy, probably if Tanner Hudson's active, I like him getting the end zone. If not, just Gesicki. But other than that, I think anytime Bo Nix touchdown would be good for that one. Then Arizona Rams for me, probably a James Conner for sure. I'd probably throw down a little bit. And as far as the Rams, Higbee's back.
Sure.
Tyler Higbee's back. I think I like
Higbee.
me some Higbee action. I like taking a stab at that. So
Yeah. So the way I'm going to go is I agree with you, Dobbins. I would definitely go Dobbins based on what Harbaugh wants to do in that game. For the Patriots, it would be Hunter Henry or nobody at all for me.
or Austin Hooper.
Or Austin Hooper, one of the tight ends. In the second game, I'm going to say McLaughlin for Denver gets in the end zone. Bo Nix, I like your Bo Nix call. For Cincinnati, I'm going to say Yosivas. He caught a touchdown last week. I think he could do it again. I like the Tanner Hudson call. Chase Brown would be the third one. And T. Higgins would be another one. I think T. Higgins could get in the end zone. For the Rams game, there's a myriad of guys. McBride for sure. Kyron Williams. I'd even go Blake Corum maybe.
I don't hate it.
Go $5 on a Blake Corum anytime touchdown and see what happens. Because if the Rams get up early and they're like up 21-7 and early in the fourth quarter, then I think you're going to see Kyron come out a little bit more than usual and Blake Corum go in, which would signal to me touchdown. But I love Trey McBride touchdown. I think it happens tonight. He doesn't have any touchdowns this year.
It's wild. That's wild too. A guy that we look so highly upon on fantasy, not getting. I mean, he's got a few looks. I've seen a few targets at him, but there's no design for him in that offense. And no wonder he was probably upset last week, right? He was like, "Man, you guys haven't got me crap all week long or all year."
Tyler's saying on his Instagram, "We're getting him in the end zone. We're getting him in the end zone," and he doesn't even sniff. I think he only caught 2 balls last week. So
yeah, I think so too. No wonder. I'd be upset too, man.
Yeah,
I'd be upset for sure. Yeah. So, no, it's interesting matchups today, guys. NFL slate. I'll be watching it all day long here, and then unfortunately, the Boons possibly probably in about 45 minutes or so. We'll have the Buffoons on here and maybe 1:00 ish Central. So keep an eye out here. Let's just take a look here. We do got a decent slate of bowl games here right now. UConn is up 24-7 on UNC with 15 seconds left in the second quarter. And
Taylor, do we know where that game is?
That is
it's in Boston, Fenway Park in Boston.
Oh, that's where it's at, Fenway today?
So UConn was an easy pick today to win this
Oh,
game.
my Lord. Right now, it's still minus 13.5 for a spread. So you can pop in, still get 13.5.
Yeah, I would lean toward UConn taking
Yeah,
UConn.
I might hop in and get that.
Yeah.
BC Nebraska is right now going on as well. We know Nebraska faithful. They're all about it. Right now it's 0-0 end of one. You can still get 6.5 on that spread for Nebraska currently going on. So but later on today, TCU's got ULL, the Raging Cajuns. That's a -9 favorite. I don't know, man. I'm not usually when it comes to bowl season, like actual bowl season, just because there's so many guys that now opt out and they don't play and they're transfer portal, as nothing intrigues me to bet. Iowa State Miami is -4 for Miami. Maybe I throw down +4 for Iowa State today. BYU Colorado could be an interesting one there. I'd probably take that -3 for +100 or something like that for Colorado today. Hey, our boys though are playing today. Our boys tonight, 8:15, Louisiana Tech and Army going at it. We saw Navy Cash yesterday, -14. I don't hate it. I don't hate it actually for that game.
So here's a story on this game. Louisiana Tech, I think it is. Marshall was the opponent for Army. Marshall backed out because they could not field the team. So they had to scramble around to get Louisiana Tech at the last minute. I know the game is in Louisiana. I think it's in Louisiana.
I think so.
But Army I've ridden them all year. I'm going to ride them again. I think Army wins the game by 21, 24 points, something like that.
Hey, one more ride, right? One more ride.
Yep. And the other thing keep in mind for the BYU Colorado game is how much does Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter play?
Yeah.
Tonight. Because they're going to the NFL. They're both going to be top 5 picks. So does Dion get them in for the first half and then just back them out and say, okay, we don't want you guys getting hurt. We're going to take you out. Or do they get a quarter? I don't know. So that's right. To be determined. So that's the perfect in-game bet for me is BYU Colorado.
I wouldn't mind that at all. Just kind of see where they're at here. Maybe after a quarter, maybe not wait until half, but probably a quarter and just see what the game trends like. So, basketball wise here, because I do got to double check some lineups here, so we'll get out of here shortly. But basketball wise here, we got Ole Miss and Memphis at 1. Right now, Memphis is only -1.5 favorites, so I don't mind dropping a little Memphis action on that one. Most likely, Syracuse and Bucknell. Bucknell's been playing pretty decently here. 12.5 favorites for Syracuse here. I'd probably wait to see what it's like closer to half before I throw anything down on that one. Some other big matchups here is kind of go down the college basketball route. Gonzaga UCLA. Gonzaga's -4 favorites. This is a 3 p.m. game in UCLA. 3 p.m. It ain't even a late game.
That seems kind of short,
doesn't it?
Gonzaga -4. That's it.
That's it.
I'm on Gonzaga.
So I'd probably look at that. 148.5 though for the over under. I'd probably hit the over on that one too.
Yep.
For that game here. Nevada, Wyoming's going at it today. 135.5 is that total. Right now, I'd probably hit the over on that one. For them here. FDU and BC, I thought was interesting. 16.5 is your number. I don't know if I'm trusting BC to cover 16.5 against the FDU team, but that might be something to look at later on today as well. But who else
BC
we got?
Is bad. BC is bad.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like 16.5. I know it's FDU, but hot dang.
That's
let's see here.
The trend that I heard a couple weeks ago is go against Wisconsin Green Bay. And the reason why is Doug Gottlieb's the head coach. He's still doing a radio show. He has he is focused on 2 different things. One, the coaching his basketball team, and more so his radio show. He wants to get great guests for his radio show. So if I haven't looked at the college basketball schedule closely enough, but if Wisconsin Green Bay is like a 10-point underdog, I would bet against them. They lost to Michigan Tech, who doesn't play anybody.
Yes.
So
nobody you, right? Nobody you.
Yeah, nobody you. So yeah, I would look at all year long. I'd look at Wisconsin, Green Bay, and fading them all year long. I'm not saying it's going to cash every game, but it's going to cash more times than it's not. So
Their next game is until next week. So
well,
the yeah, they lost to Drake, which we knew they would last week again, and then the 29th. So actually tomorrow they got IPFW. Nobody you Purdue, Fort Wayne, Macedons. So
nobody knows. So yeah, if it's a close spread, which I would think it's going to be, I would fade Wisconsin, Green Bay.
Yeah, so we'll
on the money
line.
We'll
have to tune in there for sure. But that's about it for matchups today here in college basketball world. We got some NBA games going on, of course, NHL slate for all that there if you guys follow. And by the way, Jim Behringer, one of our favorite guys, friend of the LTS show, and of course, friend here in the rec room. He'll be at the Winter Classic. He'll be going to Wrigley and getting to watch Chicago. And who is it? Chicago and the Islanders? Or no?
Is it the Islanders or St. Louis?
St. Louis. There you go. St. Louis. Sorry. St. Louis, Chicago. So that's kind of cool. Go follow him at Jim Behringer on Twitter. He'll have some great picks there from the perch. And I'm sure some great interviews from that matchup there. So it's going to be really cool. I believe that's New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
Eve, yep.
New Year's Eve, yeah.
No, is it New Year's Day? I'm not sure. It was one of those 2 days.
One of the two, guys. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday next week. So
I will say about Jim, he's got a lot of great inside information. He posted something on Twitter about the Bruins that's revealing.
Yeah. He broke it.
Yeah,
he
did, and he's been spot on everything. He's been 100% spot on everything. So he's a great follow. So if you don't follow him, go follow him.
Big insider here. We do got some fantasy matchups. So you got any championship games going, Scott?
I do. I have to start Antonio Gibson because Ken Walker is out for Thursday night. So, I'm playing in a points thing. I'm in second place right now. I could win 0 or I could win $5,000. So, I'm in one of those high stakes ones.
I got Tyjae Spears going, and Jackson Smith, who's been clutch for me, only got me like a fraction of what he's supposed to get. So
yes,
but we got the LTS. Let's talk sports. We got the main league there, and I'm in the championship game. Thanks to Nick Botkins. Appreciate Nick for standing up for me and getting me in the playoffs. And now I'm in the championship game. It's all thanks to Nick, guys. It's all thanks to Nick.
The belt is coming to no.
Yeah, I'm going against the Mad New Yorker. And he was the last pick in the draft. So you never know, guys. You never know is the key word here of what happens here. But we got a good matchup there. He's already up big on me because he had Mahomes and DJ Moore already play. So quite frankly to me, or not, DJ Moore. So, but I still got a whole slate going. So we got some good times. And then my brother's league there with our buddies here local. I'm in the championship game there, and I'm going against my brother. So no matter what, Dawson wins this sucker. DeAndre Swift did me no favors. Well, of course, because why would he? But Derrick Henry didn't do any favors for him. Oh, he had 25 points, I guess. So that was a good favor. He also had Worthy there. So, but I still got a whole slate there. I gotta get. I forgot about that late edition of CeeDee Lamb choking out last minute. I guess Brian Thomas, you're in, buddy. Good luck. God dang, rough.
I got a lot of Lamar in a lot of my high stakes leagues, so that's worked out lately. But everybody keep this in mind. Two quick points, fantasy points. Number one is if you're down, there's still a lot of football left to be played. So I got a lot of Lions players going Monday night. So that's number one. Yeah. Number two, keep an eye on the Dolphins situation. If the Broncos win today and the Colts are up, I don't think you're going to see Tua. I don't know if you'll see Tyreek. And I don't know if you're going to see Jalen Waddle. And Jalen Wright could be the running back of choice for the Dolphins against the Browns. So keep all that in mind. It's still a long way away, still a lot of football left, but keep an eye on that situation.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Scott, wish you the best, dude. Hopefully you guys pull through here.
Home the LTS league, would you please?
That's right. I know. I'm trying, man. I really want to win it because I don't have a pick past the 10th round. I think I like 3 picks past the 10th round next year. So
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I traded off some depth pieces, man, and somehow I'm still where I'm at. So
thank you, Nick.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Appreciate you, buddy. But ladies and gentlemen, we're out of here. We'll be back tomorrow for another NFL slate. Of course, we'll talk a little college football, CFP coming up here Tuesday night. So we'll get that in the mix as well. And Alan should be joining us. So everybody, have a fabulous day. You'll probably catch me again here on the Sports Buffoons if you guys go follow that. We'll be most likely on. I haven't checked my chat here to see if they're coming here in 10 minutes or an hour or so. But I'll figure that out here. And everybody have a great day, NFL slate, and we'll catch you next time. See you guys.
Bye.